Skinner.
Absolute Radio.
Hi. Yes, I've said hi. Get over it. This is Frank Skinner. It's not the Weekend Podcast through the auspices of Absolute Radio, and I'm with Emily, and you guessed it. I'm with the cockerel as well. He's in residence. He's on a stump, not too far in the distance, as the sun rises.
My jingle never really took off, if we're honest.
Did you have a jingle?
Oh,
well,
you
we
did have a
tried,
jingle,
but
yeah.
I don't know why. It just never took off, Frank, did it? I think we had See Emily Play, Pink Floyd, but then A Sport Victorian Child by The Fall became much more my theme tune.
Yes, it's all gone.
It's okay, it's no biggie.
We can look into that.
You can try this. What do you think?
I love.
Okay. I'll tell you what we haven't done for ages. I know, I won't even bother. No, how long's it been since I did this?
Oh,
We used to do this, Alun. I'd do things like, I wrote to one of the gladiators the other day, and I wrote Deer Hunter, and then we'd be off. And there was one of those every week. I milked it to the point where
He
there was
really
just dust in my hands. But those were those were our formative years. Speaking of all things musical, I've noticed, sometimes you notice that you do something. You've been doing it instinctively for years, and one day you think, oh, God, I always do that.
Oh, go on.
I went to a cash point the other day, and as I was leaving, I got some money. I always go for the full 200.
Do you?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Alan, what do you go for?
It varies depending on my...
200?
No, I like to get the 200. I like the frisson of passing the homeless man that always accompany. They're like the trolls that guard the mountain passes. They always sit by the cash points. I like the idea of the frisson of passing with that much cash in my pocket, at the risk of, you'd lose 200 quid if you was attacked.
Mm-hmm.
And now everyone knows that you permanently have £200 on you.
Well, I don't, obviously, because that goes down over a period of time. Well, I mean, that'll get down. Sometimes I'll go as low as 80p before I make that the 200 quid.
Cat's running rampage in those health food stores.
Oh, I'll say. So
I get at a clean 50, Frank.
A 50?
What do you go for? 20?
Like I say, it depends on what my movements are. If I know I'm getting a lot of taxis in the next few days, then I'll probably get 100. But
100?
if not, then it depends, really. It depends on what's coming up. You have to bear in mind I'm a stand-up as well, so I get paid in cash sometimes. So I don't often need to visit.
I hope that's been declared.
Of course.
That's good.
Every last penny.
I also...
And the VAT.
Are you one of those people who will put a set amount in at a petrol pump? I'll just put 30 quid in.
I fill it up.
Oh, yeah. You got to fill... Well, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Maximum at the cash point, maximum at the petrol pump.
Right.
Yeah,
I know what you mean.
Well, you are about to die, salute you. It's a sort of fabulous carpe diem approach to the cash point.
Yeah.
Anyway, what I've noticed is as I leave the cash point with the 200 quid... padding out my wallet, I always sing to myself, "Got brass in pocket" by the Pretenders. I always do.
That's nice.
I say to myself, because you don't want the homeless person to hear you singing that, they'll think you're gloating. But yeah, I always do it.
Do you do it slightly under your breath then? Give me a little rendition.
So
Come on.
I've got the money.
You
right,
get the money out.
The cards come out.
Yep.
The money comes out. I never count it. I never count it.
Don't need to.
They could have been shortchanging me for years, the NatWest. So anyway, that goes in my pocket, and as I go away, I do that. I don't just do the lyric. I do the.
Oh, you do Got Gear a bit as well.
Got rest. I do a bit of a Chrissy Hine. I don't do it in my own style. I completely adopt the Hindian approach.
And it's nice that there's so many songs with money in the title or chorus, and yet
he
you
chose
picked
that.
one. And
I don't
stuck
know
with
where
it.
it's come from. Plus, it's got the idea that it's in my pocket, I suppose.
And it's brass.
Well, I'm going to work this out because that came out in the sort of late 80s, early 90s. Post your marriage, maybe you suddenly felt euphoric because you're an independent man of independent means.
Well, I don't know if I had any money before then. I think me
okay.
having money in the bank coincided with the Pretenders bringing out brass in pocket.
There you go.
Is it brass in pocket, or has it got brass
No,
in pocket?
it's brass in pocket.
Yeah, but has it got the word "got" at the front of it? Has he got got
Yeah,
in
no,
brackets?
you're right, you're right,
I love
Frank.
it when they have brackets.
Oh, I
Why
love-
bother with brackets?
I love a bracket.
Just put the whole thing in.
But Frank, you've pointed this out now, and I have to say, I do this an awful lot. This sort of
really?
soundtrack business, yeah. Well, I noticed I used to do it when I was younger. This is terrible, but my sister and I had quite a difficult adolescence, both of us. Parents had a messy divorce. I'm oversharing. Well,
Yeah.
you need to know the backstory because my mum, she used to come back, and we were getting on.
Sorry, you just reminded me of another one. I'll tell you in a minute. Carry on.
We were getting on quite badly, partly because my sister and I would just lie in bed smoking till like 4 in the afternoon and never do the dishes.
How old were you?
About sort of 15.
There's something so exciting now about the whole concept of indoor smoke. Isn't it? It feels like the wall of death to me.
So my mum would come back in some 80s get up, not very happy, and we'd get scared because we think the house wasn't tidy. She'd be really unhappy, so we'd always sing, "Oh, here she comes, watch out boy, she'll chew you up." We used to sing Manny to Hall & Oates. We still do it to this day.
Really?
Yeah, all the time.
Brilliant. Oh,
Nice that
brilliant.
People have got a soundtrack. I like. Not just me with my cockerel sound effect.
Oh.
No, when you mentioned the messy divorce, it reminded me. I've got my current thing is a well-known TV theme tune that I fit every aspect of my life into.
Yeah.
For example, a friend of mine said, "Oh yeah, it's all gone, blah blah blah. I'm going to have to see a divorce lawyer."
Yeah.
And I went, "Divorce lawyer." Da, 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 da. And I thought that was inappropriate, wasn't it? I could tell the way she looked at me was, "Hold on, why would you be singing that?" That was a bit awkward.
Do you have a little soundtrack to your life, Alan?
I occasionally, if I'm on the way up a flight of, on the escalators on the tube, and it's
yeah.
really busy, as I'm rising from the ground, I will have the Stone Roses' "I Am the Resurrection." in my head. I just quite like the idea that everyone's gathered around me as I'm being elevated.
I love that yours is quite self-important. I love
isn't it? It's not really me. I don't know what's, what's come over me.
It's not always. It's always the quiet ones.
Yeah.
He's messianic.
Aren't I?
And I find that whenever I change the calendar, like this week just gone, obviously it became July, and whenever I do that, Mum, which is quite a ritual,
Oh,
so
yeah.
I've got Wild West drawings on one side of the room, and George Formby
Oh.
calendar on the other, so I have to change both.
You're a two-calendar room.
Because I don't know which way I'm going to be facing. How can you ever predict that?
Well, that and you're leading a double life, of course.
Yeah, exactly. So I always sing do you remember the calendar song? January, February, March, April. I have to sing it in a West Indian accent, forgive me, but that's how they sang it.
I
Do you
don't
remember
know
it?
that song. I do not know that
Oh,
one.
the lyrics were January, February, March, April.
Well, unsurprisingly.
And a great moment, the middle eight was August, September, October, November, December. Then they'd repeat it. August, September, and then back into January, February. Anyway, I always sing it, and I sing it with a bit.
Who
I'm
did
doing
the
it now.
lyrics? Tim Rice?
When I sing it, I'm playing it, a tin drum. The hands are they're making their way around the circle of the old oil drum. I don't do that. I'm hamming it up for
You're
you.
embellishing.
You give me
Yeah.
an audience, and I start showing off. But when I'm just changing the calendar, I just go January, February, March, and sometimes I'll give a bit of emphasis to the month. And if I'm like April, May, June, July, because it's July.
Oh, I hope I'm not around for the July moments.
No, well, it's a 12-to-1 shot.
Yeah.
Now,
Got a year.
Oh, can I tell you another one I had? This was and I've done this a couple of times. If I meet someone who's associated with a tune,
oh yeah.
obviously the tune's in my head. And I went for lunch once with Eric Clapton. And
No,
we were
you
sitting
didn't.
talking, and I came back from the toilet going, diddle-diddle-diddle-dun, and then I thought, oh no! And I knew he'd heard it, but I didn't have the courage to bring it up. And I don't know, what did he think? What did he think when I did that?
Well, you do. It's funny because ever since we went to see Elton John in the Union Chapel with Absolute Radio, whenever I say the word Elton John, you do a little rendition of Rocket Man.
No, it's not Rocket
Oh no,
Man.
it's not. It's Crocodile Rock.
Yeah, probably.
Yes, Crocodile Rock.
Yeah, if you they're a bit like trains, Elton John songs. If you go, you'll be able to fit them all in eventually.
Yes.
Well, how would you feel if somebody was
How would
humming
yous?
How would you
He
feel?
was an eccentric character.
Wasn't he? That's not I've lost my track now.
Oh, sorry.
How would you feel if somebody was humming 3 lines in your presence? That'd be the same sort of thing, wouldn't it?
Good point,
To be
Alan.
honest, I'm a little bit upset if they aren't.
Oh,
Really?
Yeah.
in that case, perhaps Clapton went, finally, I've had lunch with someone that came back humming later.
Yeah, but I bet he was thinking, why not a solo track?
Yeah.
Why not Who Shot the Sheriff? It has to be Derek and the Dominoes. What next? White Room by Cream? What if you'd have said that to me? Hey, what next? White Room by Cream? Sorry, Eric, I hadn't planned a set list for our lunch. Get over it.
Frank, something's been on my mind of late. And it's to do with men. And it's to do with things of a sartorial nature.
Excellent.
And I'll tell you why. It's because there was a survey recently. Do you know...
There's always a survey.
Well, no, but this was quite an important survey. It was to
Landmark.
do with how many buttons men leave undone on their shirt. And the average male, apparently, it's now descended... I used descended because it's descended to 3. So most men now favour at least 3 buttons undone, which they're calling the sort of Simon Cowell effect.
I'm not. I'm just checking mine. I have 1 undone.
Yeah.
What about yourself?
Alan?
Alan's
On
gone
this-
for 2.
I've got 2, but normally this one would have 1, but...
Yeah, don't try and wheedle your way out of it. You've gone for 2.
I think 2's okay though on this particular shirt. 2's
Yeah.
fine. If it was a floppier shirt, it would be 1.
Yeah, well, some might say this is a bit highly buttoned. But
have a
I'm.
look. No, you're all right. Then.
No, you're all right there, mate.
But the thing is,
Did you like me trying to be like a man?
yeah,
No, you're all right there, mate.
you know, the higher you go, the nearer you get to Paul Weller. That's what I always think.
Yep.
I'd rather be Paul Weller than Simon Cowell.
Oh, me too.
That's an interesting text in that would be. Your Arthur B. Paul Weller.
Email in now.
Yeah, I think that would split the nation.
Yeah. But Frank, I don't like anything like that exposed. I don't like it.
No, I don't like it.
No.
It's not, those aren't your strong areas. I don't mean you two. You looked horrified when I said
Well,
that.
no, because it is true. If
It's not true of
if I went
you.
3 buttons, it would. I mean, such is the narrowness of my shoulders. I would completely emerge. That's what would happen? I would. It'd be like a banana coming out the skin, and. I am very narrow of the. If I undid 4 buttons within 2 minutes, I'd look like Jane Russell in The Outlaw.
Well, you see, it's funny she said, because some people say, you could say double standards. Women
Yes.
Women
I'm just
have-
thinking she actually went out with Howard Hughes. It's
Well,
a
there you go.
fabulous,
It's fabulous.
fabulous, obscure vein running through our conversation. I love an obscure vein.
I'm getting it treated next week. But no, I do find women might wear a low-cut top. I'm wearing one today. Don't look.
Are you? I can't see over my computer
Okay.
screen.
But
Little insight there to the visual elements of the podcast. Enjoy it.
But I think that's okay, because traditionally women a little bit cheeky sometimes on the clothing front. Men, that's not your area. Those aren't your strong points. That
not my
chest
culture.
area.
No, I'm also, I get, how can I put this? I get a bit spotty on the chest. I'd say that was my biggest spot region.
Is it really?
Yeah. It looks like an AA nerve centre, my chest. It's these glowing red dots across it. And, no, that's best covered up. I don't know what it is. I sometimes think I'm showering and forgetting to do my chest.
Well, you're spending so long on the ears.
Well, that's true.
Is that right?
I
Yeah.
never-
He loves scrubbing the
Oh,
ears.
Well, it's a new thing. You know the novelty of a new,
Got a bit
new
of previous
departure.
on this conversation. haven't
Yeah, I didn't clean my ears until I think it was October 2010.
You've never
No,
cleaned them.
never. I always imagined that, you
That
know,
must have been a hell of a day.
I always imagined, well, it was, I think it was October. What it was the day that Edison invented the light bulb, and that seemed to me apposite.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I'd never done it before. Now I'm getting the cotton buds out. Look, first started off, I would just, I soaped up, and then I might put a finger through the toilet paper type of cleaning.
Mm-hmm.
But now I've gone for a cotton bud.
Yeah. It's satisfying, though, isn't it? There's a feeling afterwards.
It's less satisfying than it was, because in the early days, I was bringing out gobbets and stuff, and now it's just maintenance.
But originally it would have been like panning for gold, wouldn't it? It'd just
Oh,
be-
well, yes, it was quite... yeah, it's more like panning for fudge, if you can imagine.
This is a horror part.
satisfying.
Yeah, exactly. I could have sneaked it into a fudge shop. I reckon I could have put 7 or 8 cubes together.
And then Thornton's shot.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That was a sad tale.
Join the dots.
So you don't favour a low cut. I mean, because they're also saying, Frank, that there's been a rise in the sale of the V-neck for a man, as the T-shirt. And I don't think I've ever seen you in a V-neck T-shirt.
No, I don't think.
Long may that continue.
I don't own a V-neck. I think from a distance in a V-neck, you look like the Wicked Witch of the West because it looks like your chin,
Oh
Right.
yes, you're right, Frank.
and I don't want to risk that.
It's a bit V for Vendetta, isn't it? I know exactly what
It
you
is
mean.
V for Vendetta.
I like
yeah.
a V-neck sweater.
Do you?
I do, I like a
I
V-neck
don't. I
sweater.
don't dabble with knitwear hardly ever.
Oh, really?
No. He's
I
got a
can't-
hoodie in every colour, though, which
Oh.
he wears according to his mood.
All the rainbow in hoodies.
Yeah, mood hoodies.
I walked through the lobby of a fancy hotel the other day.
This
to
sounds
see-
like the beginning of a fabulous epic poem.
No, it's not.
Oh.
It's an underwhelming anecdote, I would wager. I saw a man in only a cardigan, no shirt under it.
Was it Top Cat? Oh, he had trousers and everything.
Oh, it was I think a Mediterranean
Top
gentleman.
Cat's granddad.
Yeah,
Just in a cardigan.
but that's a high risk.
No
look,
shirt.
yeah.
No,
shirts.
but now, from this conversation, it transpires he could have been wearing a V-neck T-shirt underneath.
Just a flesh-coloured one.
No, but if he had the thing buttoned,
I hope
No,
it wasn't man-made fibres.
It was quite low down. It was
Oh,
sort of like
no,
that. It's
that's-
far too much male
what
torso.
next? An unaccompanied dungaree?
And I have never enjoyed. Yeah, Texas Midnight Runners were in the lobby.
Exactly.
I've never enjoyed the V-neck jumper without a shirt on. To me, that always looks like someone's looking for an alibi, and that there's a bloody shirt in a hedge somewhere.
Oh,
That's-
goodness. Yes, I know what you mean.
I don't like
That's
that
a
look.
good pun.
It's a
sort
bit
of.
Michael Douglas midlife crisis as well. Don't
Oh,
like that.
Yeah,
I'll tell you what I don't like is the round neck jumper with a shirt and tie underneath.
I
yeah.
entirely. This is why I'm such a fan of the V-neck.
Because the
V-neck,
tie is vying for attention. You know
Yes.
it's there thinking, why am I even here?
the round neck.
What,
is
for the top section of my knot? Forget about it.
straining everything, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's too
Whereas
much going on. It's a bottleneck.
The joy of the V-neck is that you can wear it with a collared shirt and with a round neck T-shirt. So you've bought 2 jumpers there. Those of you that have invested in a
You're right.
V-neck.
Is it up there with the Tom Lehrer double cassette?
Yes, it's a bargain, isn't it? It's a bargain.
I tell you, I can't cope with the disappointment of knitwear. You know when you first get knitwear and you wear it and it's lovely and lush and
Right.
wholesome. And it never, after the first wash, you can put in all your fabric conditioners, but it's never quite the way it is when you first get
No.
it. It never recovers from the first wash.
It never does.
And I hate that. It's like, the first time you have a physical relationship with someone, things are never quite the same after.
Frank!
I find,
Frank!
despite what Peugeot said, the reality is not better than the dream.
Frank!
Anyway, I'll tell you something else. Something else I don't like that I find men who wear a low-bottom shirt is they'll
Yeah.
wear. I've seen men in 3 or 4 different medallions. Chains, things on
Oh,
chains.
really?
Not
Right.
one chain,
But-
but 3 or 4 different chains.
Oh, that's a
I
lot.
mean, what is that about?
It's a bit Mr. T, isn't it?
Yeah, are you wearing them or storing them?
Yeah.
That's what, make a decision on this. When you see people snogging in the street and some people shout, hey, get a flat.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, if I see a man with like 3 or 4 necklaces on, I'll say, hey, get a jewellery box.
Get a safe.
You tell him.
Yeah. Or maybe one of those, those necks you can get, those busts with just the neck on for button. Get
That is
one of those.
exactly the sort of thing you could pick up at a jumble sale or
It's
charity
Yeah.
shop.
And
I'm
the nice
sure.
thing about them, you can
Charity
put the
shop.
necklaces around the neck, but you can use the upper neck where it's been severed. You could use that as a pincushion.
I had an awkward episode this week.
Oh, yeah.
Episode. This is the age
Yeah,
I'm
you're
at
in the
now.
bill now.
I'm having episodes. I quite frequently use a minicab company near my house, and this week I got one, and the man did the whole journey with his seatbelt off, and it really perplexed me, annoyed me quite a lot because I felt immediately anxious that he didn't have his seatbelt on, but I also knew that I wasn't the sort of person to say, could you put your seatbelt on whilst driving me, please, because it's making me anxious that you haven't taken this very safe measure. I mean, how long have we had them? Since 1975 or something? It's been law in the UK or something, I think. And it's not cool, is it, to not have your seatbelt on?
Well, I think it might be in some masculine quarters.
I don't know. It just...
Isn't it a tough guy thing to do? Not.
I think so.
Yeah.
He was quite a chunky guy, so maybe he thought if I fly through the
BFN.
window...
Did he have
in the-
pictures of his children on the dashboard?
No, I think that would have made me say, for their sake, you could... I might have even said, look, but we were on the motorway. There was a little spell of motorway.
Oh, well, this is an all added ingredient. Because if you're
That changes
if you're
things.
tootling around
motorway.
side streets...
I think I mean dual carriageway flyover, but still with the potential for quite an
A-road,
impact.
on an A-road.
We're talking he was doing 40, maybe.
Oh, I and maybe in excess of that,
Really?
possibly even up to 50. And
Did you consider putting your arms through the gaps either side of his seat and grabbing him tightly around the waist as
I
a
was
safety
in the
measure?
front seat alongside him.
Oh, you were at the
I would
side
have had
of
to
it.
reach right across. I'll tell you what I did consider, a citizen's arrest. But I just, I thought, how could I practice
Can I
that?
just
If
say-
you did
I've-
reach across and grab the seatbelt holder, you'd operate as a human seatbelt. That would have been brilliant. I don't know if he'd have took all right with it.
I'm not sure it would have really helped in an impact situation, though.
No.
My arm's just been near
You're
him.
one of the only people I've met who rides up front, and you know who the other person is?
Ooh, tell me.
Franklin Skinner. He does it.
Actually, I've stopped doing it.
Oh, dear.
I always used to ride
You
up front
did?
and, for a bit of a chat. But I've become more of a misanthrope as
Oh,
I've
have
got
you?
older.
Oh, good.
I don't. I like to do quite a long. I've done a 25-mile journey in utter silence, and I like it. There's something about being in the same space as a stranger and saying nothing, which is it makes you feel like a hostage. It's exciting.
For a
what I
while.
think. My worry, if it's a minicab company, I don't think I'd have minded him not having it. If it was a black cab, I'd be worried that if we had an accident, he could shoot through the windscreen. I could be trapped and
Yeah.
not being able to move my hands, and the meter is still going.
Yeah.
And people arrive with oxyacetylene equipment. Yes, I'm all right. Could you? Do you know how to? Could you? Is there a stop? Can you see a stop button? Hold on, I'm just going to get the door off. Hold on. Is there a stop? Can you see a pause or something on? That's what would. I've always thought that would be a lovely one of the side prizes in Miss World. Is if, as well as getting your money and your lovely year of travelling round, that you had a seatbelt fitted in your car in the style of the Miss World sash.
That's a great idea.
With Miss World
Oh, I
on
might
it.
get one anyway.
Yeah,
I
with
love
like,
that, Frank.
like a satin finish on the seatbelt.
Yes.
Then I think people would be very happy to put those on.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
it can interfere with your look. That's the trouble.
Yeah, I understand that, but this man did not look like he cared about his appearance to the point where he was leaving his seatbelt off, let me tell you.
Well, where I live, there's a garage underneath our flats, and you need what I would call a dibber to make the door open. And sometimes, if I'm wearing a jacket to drive, the seatbelt will be going right across the top of my pocket, and I'll reach for my dibber and I can't get in. So I've taken to wearing the jacket above the seatbelt.
Oh,
So the seatbelt now,
controversial.
it looks like I'm wearing some sort of shoulder holster.
It's relaxed, though, isn't it? The jacket around the seatbelt is
Yeah.
it's a nice
But I can
relaxed-
imagine that someone would look at me and think, oh, he's not wearing a seatbelt, because I'm, it's secreted now.
I often drive with my belt undone one extra notch. I put my belt on driving settings.
Do you really?
Yeah. Just, if you're on a long journey, you don't want it digging in.
No.
It's nice to
Sometimes
arrive
I'll put my seatbelt on and put my jacket on over the top. Put my jacket on last.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Well, sometimes...
Can I say I made that up?
He's just lying
I was
now.
thinking
Yeah.
this is like a game of Twister. How could you
was-
possibly do that?
I was so overpowered by the belt story. I thought I have to come up with something, otherwise I'll end up making
Oh,
a fool
you
of myself.
tried, darling.
I did try, but
Sometimes it's hard to describe, but if you're a lady as well, it can hurt sometimes. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So,
I've heard that.
Frank.
What?
So I sort of tuck it underneath. Oh, it's hard to describe, really.
You took it underneath?
Yes, but I don't know if that's.
No,
I think that's anti-regulation.
I think sitting on it is not. I think it has to grip you.
Yeah.
Oh, it grips me, all right. It grips me. It grips me underneath.
And it's a temperamental mistress, the seatbelt, I've found.
I did wonder what you're talking about there.
If you get forceful with it, it won't budge.
No.
Yeah.
No, you have to tease it out. You have to go, no, there's no rush to put you on. Come on.
You know, there's a reason
Come round
for that,
here.
because in an impact, they move quickly. So if you move a seatbelt quickly,
Of
they're
course.
designed for that.
Have you got airbags, though?
Yes, I believe so.
How people survive those slow motion car crashes, I'll never know.
No.
You'd think it'd just paralyse.
You go out like one of those dogs on the telescopic lead.
Hey, I can offer a little public service.
Go
I
on.
was once in a car impact, shall
Were
we say.
you?
And so
Oh, I love a car crash anecdote.
Oh, do
it's like
you?
J.G. Ballard on the radio.
What happened?
Well,
No
let's
one was
not-
seriously injured?
No, everyone was fine. Let's not get into that. But I have been in a car where the airbag is
Drink
open.
on.
Oh, the airbag
And
opened.
the,
it was like being in with Jules Holland.
And the man told me that it was a good job that I was wearing long sleeves because
Really?
apparently when they pack in the airbag, they put in a powder with it that if it goes off when you've got short sleeves on, it can irritate your skin. It's a little bit.
What about your face?
Oh, well, I won't be wearing black
on your face.
in my car ever.
I sometimes drive in just a thong.
Well, that's probably why there's been no accidents.
Well, the aircon.
People are avoiding the
aircon's
guy
not working.
driving in the thong
I have no choice.
with his seatbelt and his jacket on.
On a beaded, you know those beaded seat
Oh, yeah,
covers,
yeah.
the wooden ball, on those.
From,
Oh,
Ann,
man.
from Ann Summers, the Ann Summers seat cover.
The love egg seat cover.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh,
It's a
yeah.
niche market product. Isn't
Yeah,
it?
once you switch them on and they start rotating, those balls.
A niche
It's
product
fabulous.
of some
I was once slid all the way into the back seat on the motorway. Very dangerous. Well, I don't know. I mean, were you worried about him, the driver, or were you worried, if he goes through the windscreen, how am I going to control the car?
I was more worried if he goes through the windscreen, I'm going to be annoyed because it's going to delay my journey. I'm going to be a witness to an accident, and
Yeah.
it's all going to be his fault because he's not got his seatbelt on, and there's just no coolness to. I just don't understand why you wouldn't.
Perhaps
It's
he
not like-
forgot.
No, he knew. He drives all day.
I know, but he could have easily, got out. They had to get out for fast food 4 or 5 times a day.
He did
They
look
have to
like
get
it.
out for fast food.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sure they could do a driving.
He had
I think
the
they're glad
physique.
to stretch their
He
legs.
had the physique of a detective on a stakeout. So
Did he really?
Oh, did he?
Oh, yeah.
Lots of, yeah.
Detective in a steakhouse. He sounds like that kind of. Well, I think you should have. You should have spoke.
Speak up next time.
But how would you say it? Look, mate, could you put
Do
your
it.
seatbelt on?
No,
please?
just do it in the female way. A bit passive aggressive, a lot of subterfuge. Don't actually come out and say it, but just kind of allude to it.
something like.
Say something like, "Oh, I'm so glad I'm wearing my seatbelt."
Yeah. Oh, I'm putting my seatbelt on,
Yeah.
and just put the emphasis on my in a weird way.
That's the female way.
Right.
Yeah. Or you could start running your thumb provocatively up and down your seatbelt to draw attention to it. I don't know if you ever did that.
I don't want him to drive with his seatbelt off in a state of arousal.
No, that's true. Well, at
sure
least
that would help.
might take some of the impact. He could at least deflect him through the sunroof. I've been using public. Is it minicab qualify as public transport? I suppose
Does
it
in my world.
Yeah, it certainly does.
so.
I was on a train this week, and the train stopped in not at a station, quite suddenly, and a voice came over the. I'm calling it the. I was going to call
The
it
tannoy.
the tannoy. Yeah, exactly. Over the tannoy.
Is this overground or underground, Frank?
This was, I don't know, we were wombling free. So I think there was an option. No, it was a proper train, not an underground train. And it stopped, and a voice said, "Passenger emergency handle operated."
Oh.
Now, you see, if someone had said to me 2 weeks ago, "What is that thing that you can pull that stops a train?" I would have said a communication cord. I had no idea it had become the passenger emergency handle. Nowhere near as good as communication cord. And then that got me to thinking about the whole concept of communication cord. The idea that you're communicating by a cord. It's lovely. It's got a sort of brief encounter
Yeah,
feel
I
to
like it.
Which is how I feel whenever I'm on train travel. I don't sing the theme from Brief Encounter, if that's what you're thinking, but I will, especially if I stop off for a refreshment in the kiosk. I will think, ooh, look at me Benbridge. That's just me. But yeah, it was, that happened, and then what about this? I went on the bus, and the seat at the front, you may know, is kept for the elderly and infirm.
Oh, I always use that. Is that right? I love
The one
it.
right behind the driver.
I thought that was like a VIP seat. I love that seat. It's right behind
There's
the
a
driver.
sign that says elderly and infirm.
Anyway,
I sat in that, and I thought, I'll move if anyone elderly and infirm comes. And often you get the daggers looks, people sitting in there. And I've noticed, in recent times, people will come on, look at me in the elderly and infirm and think, that's fair enough.
as it should be.
Yeah, all is well with the world. And it's suddenly struck me that I never get the daggers look anymore.
Oh.
I've become entitled to the elderly and infirm.
Oh, Frank.
It's tough, but, then again, it's a boon.
Yeah, one wonders if it's a self-fulfilling prophecy, though. Do you just think you're sitting in it with more, entitlement? You think you're allowed in, so that other people are thinking, yeah, he's allowed in.
Well, no, I don't know. I
That's
feel
how
like
con
I'm
artists
cheating.
Right. Oh, yeah.
I don't feel
No,
like
you're
I'm
all
there.
right there.
Yeah. And also, on the subject of seatbelts, if a bus crashes, well, presumably all the passengers are in a no seatbelt situation.
But the
Very
seats
good
are
point.
different on buses, aren't they? I think there's a propelling thing. I
He
don't
knows
know.
his buses.
Propelling.
Surely someone's driven a bus into a wall as an NCAP test or something, surely. Are we aware of the NCAP test? No, don't matter.
Isn't it a charity for the mentally ill?
No, NCAP is the stars that certain safe cars are given.
Is that
You get
right?
5 stars. They basically drive the car into the wall.
You just love masculinity.
Love it.
I don't think of this as masculine. I think it's just that I'm an idiot that's looked at...
Do you have one of those big screwdrivers that unscrew on the handle and have different bits?
My wife
inside?
does.
Your wife has one of those?
Yeah.
That puts a whole new spin on things.
It does. That's...
There are certain bits that, we have no gender
My
stereotypes.
wife's got
there.
it's all going to be prisoner cell block H.
Yeah. I travel by public transport a lot. I see lots of weird life.
Well, I
on
think
the
if you
old-
stop... Some celebrities, they stop travelling
Yeah.
on
Yes.
Or they
public
only
transport.
go first and they don't meet the people.
Yeah, but it's a fabulous window on the world.
Oh. And also occasionally quite perplexing. I was once on a train. They have Wi-Fi. They have
I know.
They have literally have
Yeah.
Wi-Fi. And
sockets.
The sock. I love the
unbelievable.
sockets.
It is amazing what they can do now, isn't it? But I was on a train and it went from Manchester to Stockport, and then the guy came over and went, yeah, we're just going to have to, we've got a problem with the computer system on the train, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it off and back on again. And that was what he did.
I was on a train where they did that as well.
Did
they
they?
rebooted.
He treated a train like an ill-behaving laptop.
Yeah.
He turned it off and back on again. I was going, people are emailing, and that's what you're doing. We've got Wi-Fi on a train. We've got to this level of technological advancement, and you're turning it off and back on again. Surely there's some other way. Amazing.
I was on a train where a man complained about the volume of the announcements.
Good.
Did he?
Good.
Oh, good
Yeah,
on
it's the
him for that.
time.
They are rather loud
Yes,
and tinny.
no. My favourite tannoy announcement of late was I risked the self-service in Tesco Local, which
Did
I'd
you?
never done before.
Did you go sandwich or?
Well, I know I had a whole bag of stuff, so I was
wow.
I was running the barcodes and all that, and a voice said, "Unexpected item in the bagging area."
Yeah.
And I thought, well, there was a time I would have done 3 jokes off the back of that. But it's an unexpected item, and I was looking around thinking, what idiot has put an unexpected item in the bagging area? And then this bloke came up to me and said, you have to you have to put your bag down. And I said, what? He said, well, it's... and I told him, my bag is an unexpected item in the bagging area. It's the one thing I'd expect to be there. But apparently it goes off the weight of the bag or something like that.
Oh, is that right?
Had you put your own bag onto the
No,
scales?
I don't own a shopping bag. What are you talking about?
Thought you might have
He
bag
has a
for life
wheelie.
on.
He has a wheelie bin.
Thought you may have had a satchel with you or
I
something.
don't have a bag for life. That's Cliff Richard. No, I was just filling carrier bags.
So is he?
As you think, yes, I've heard that. Yeah. He hasn't moved to the brown paper. I mean, he wouldn't. But, no, I ended up, everyone was staring, God, that's that bloke off the telly there, because they don't know how to operate in the real world. Those kind of looks.
Yes.
I bet, yeah.
I was getting.
Bet.
I still
I'm more surprised that more people don't steal, though, don't abuse the system.
Well, that's the kind of cynical attitude that has brought about the whole broken Britain theory. There must be a method from stopping them doing that, hadn't it?
Yeah, I would think so. Surely it goes...
Yeah, there's one lone security guard. I think I'm surprised more theft doesn't go on.
I'll tell you something else on the subject of public transport.
Yeah.
I just recalled, I was on a bus last week. A man came on with a chair.
What a full-blown throne.
No, a proper, like an office chair. And he stood with the chair. It was a packed bus, and he stood with the chair. And I thought, well, sit in
the
You've got
chair.
a chair. Sit in
As
it.
Fonzie said, sit on it.
Yeah, exactly. And I was thinking, would it be acceptable, as this chair is now on a bus, for me to sit in it? I was standing. Would it be all right if I sat in his chair? There was no plastic cover or anything on it.
And was the chair wheeled at the bottom?
Yeah, it was an office chair.
Oh, well, that's probably why he didn't sit in it, because then he'd have ended up rolling around the bus. The,
but it was
the bus
old.
takes a bend.
Well, that would have been all. I wouldn't have minded
It
that.
would have been quite a carry-on style.
Would have given me a chance to check everyone out on the
Yeah.
bus. No, but he was old in the
You
back
could have
of
been
it.
going around like Ironsides, manoeuvring your way
Yeah.
around.
Da-da-da-da-da. He was old in the back of the chair, so it wouldn't have moved about. He might have objected to holding.
He might have spun you like you were on the waltzers.
Oh, no. Of course, that maybe the reason he wasn't sitting is that he had to hold the chair.
He had no
I hadn't
holder.
thought of that.
Oh, yeah.
But he could have held on to the... if he'd have held on to the pole,
Yeah.
he
Yeah.
could have gone round and round it on the chair, like some sort of fairground amusement.
Bit of light
Or a
relief.
very poor lap dance.
Yeah. Well, he wasn't an unattractive man. And he was a chair owner.
Yeah, got something to his credit.
So
hasn't
not totally impoverished.
It's an interesting episode of Ironside, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
The lap dancing years. When police funding was cut.
Oh, poor Raymond Burr. He didn't look good in it.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.